Hey, what's up everyone? It's 2023. As we turn the page and enter a new year, I would like to list the top 5 major energy trends that, in my opinion, shaped the global energy landscape in 2022 and which I believe will continue to have far-reaching effects in 2023 and beyond. The first 3 are cold hard truths facing the energy transition. First, the ensuing war in Ukraine reminded the world of the importance of energy security. Even though this should be the priority for any country, we've seen that even major countries had been previously complacent about historical energy supply chains and were not prepared for the energy supply shock that unfolded so rapidly in 2022. Energy, clean or dirty, is the lifeblood of our economies, and when it comes down to survival, we've seen coal power come back with a vengeance, and likely this is going to be transient, but it is a stark reminder of our continued dependence on fossil fuels in the near to mid-term future. Second, these supply shocks and high inflation raise the cost of just about everything, both fossil and renewable energy included, reminding the world of the importance of energy affordability. Whether we realize it or not, affordable energy has underpinned global economic growth for the past many decades. Markets may be willing to pay a green premium for cleaner energy, but only up to a reasonable extent. Third, the reckoning of equity and bond markets globally has humbled investors. In the aftermath, ESG altruism will now have to be rationalized against which projects are real and have the ability to generate near-term cash flows. The fundamental objective of any investor is, after all, investing for a return. Now, one might look at these first 3 trends and wonder, is this the end of the energy transition? Well, it all depends on the perspective. If we're just looking for short-term wins and a complete switch over to full renewables at all costs, then one might conclude that this is the end of the energy transition. But if we're looking at this with a long-term perspective and are seeking sustainable solutions, then no, this isn't the end. In fact, quite the opposite. I believe this is a healthy rationalizing of the hype that has engulfed the ESG theme since the start of the COVID pandemic. Referencing the famous Gartner hype cycle model, we've entered the trough of disillusionment, setting the groundwork for enlightenment and productivity ahead. Fourth, we have the increasing role of governments worldwide in taking action to ensure energy security, recognize the externality costs of CO2, and address climate change mitigation and adaptation. Governments are arguably in a much better position than the free markets to allocate resources to address the balance of public good and societal costs related to energy and the climate. For example, in 2022, the US passed the Inflation Reduction Act with over $350 billion to promote the development of clean energy. The US also utilized the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to manage oil prices. Europe, especially Germany, faced with a sudden cut of natural gas supply from Russia, cut through traditional red tape to establish LNG regasification capacity in under a year. Now that's a phenomenal feat considering that it would have normally taken many years. And 2022 also saw the German government step in to nationalize a major utility considered too big to fail. Finally, fifth, the Loss and Damage Fund achieved by COP27 sets out to provide financial assistance to nations most vulnerable and impacted by the effects of climate change. While many critique that this doesn't do anything for climate mitigation, but the fund is still a foundational milestone in at least 2 key aspects. One, it is a recognition of the fact that climate change affects different regions of the world in different ways and to different degrees. 2, and more importantly, it sets a precedence to recognize the monetary cost of damage caused by climate change, which will set the baseline for critical cost and benefit analysis as the world evaluates competing options for climate mitigation, climate adaptation, or reparation. Think about it this way. If you now have to pay for repairs, maybe it might cost less to invest upfront to mitigate climate change in the first place? Well, in closing, I believe that each of these trends will likely continue to develop in 2023 and set the foundation for a much healthier energy transition. More importantly, I believe the cumulative impact of these trends will shape the global consciousness and bring the world towards a consensus around the concept of what I call energy pragmatism. This is the notion that while we do need to urgently address climate change, we cannot afford to do so with idealistic expectations. Instead, we will need a healthy balance of aspirations and realism as we work together to develop and execute practical strategies to revamp our global energy system. This is, after all, a transition, a process which must be given time to mature. Everything from policy, people's mindsets, physical supply chains, and price structures that will ensure the sustainability of the energy transition. Well, that's all I have for you today. What were your top 5 trends? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you've got any value out of this video, I appreciate you taking a moment to support this channel with a like, share, and subscribe. My mission here on this channel is to promote fact-based thinking and practical solutions for energy and climate sustainability. So with that, take care and have a wonderful new year ahead.